What is going on, everybody? It is Alex coming back at you with another video. And today we're doing something that I've spent a lot of damn time on. It is a 2023 way too early mock draft. Now, if you guys do enjoy this, like, comment, subscribe. And I'm going to be basing this off of two things. One, I believe it's called actionreport.com. They have a pre-Super Bowl odds. So, of course, if anything changes, we're going to change that in the future. But it's also going to be based off of my first round of my 2022 mock. It is going to be right before this video on the time stream. So, of course, if you guys want to check out why I'm doing these picks, go check out that video too. You guys love mock drafts. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Love for you to join the community. Just over 3,400 subs. Love to see that. Links down in the description below. Of course, for all types of discounts as well as ways to connect with me. So it's Twitter, Instagram, Discord. Got a great community there. So feel free to join there and feel free to reach out to me there or the comment section below. Let's get into this. Let's have a good time because this took a lot of time and I'm very excited to show it off. Starting off with the number one pick, we got Bryce Young out of Alabama. If this is what's going to happen with the Detroit Lions, you have to maximize on it. Right now, I have them projected to get Aidan Hutchinson, so there's no need to go after Will Anderson. I mean, you could. That'd be insane, but it'd also be a little bit out of the question. You just don't really want to do that. You're going to be able to have Penei Sewell as well as Taylor Decker protecting Bryce Young here. So I think that the protection will be good enough because I know Bryce is a little bit thin, a little bit small, but that's okay. You got a good enough offensive line. You can get some more pieces in the draft, which of course I'm going to be continuing to develop that in my second, third rounds coming up very soon in the 2022 mock. But this is going to be the right move. You need to get a new franchise quarterback if you can't get past number one. Let's go to number two. That's Will Anderson going to the Jets. You know, is it time to look at CJ Stroud? I don't think so. Again, Zach Wilson's a guy we knew he was going to be a project. And I think that there were some games where I got legit questions whether he's going to be a true NFL quarterback. The deer in headlights look, I call it the Brock Osweiler look. They were there, but I think that what we've seen from him before in college certainly could continue to evolve and develop in the NFL. And if that continues to happen, he's going to be a damn good player. And Will Anderson is the best player in the entire class by a good margin. I don't need to explain it. This guy is better than anybody in this class coming up. He rivals Evan Neal, in my opinion, just because Evan Neal is so damn special. But Will Anderson is even more special. I remember the first time I ever saw this guy, I had no idea who he was. I was watching Liam Eichenberg, and I was like, dude, he's playing against Alabama. Shoot, he's already done pretty well against these other teams. I was actually a pretty big fan of Liam. Not when he went to the Dolphins, which is weird, but that's another story for another time. I was like, who the hell is this Will Anderson guy? He was a freaking beast. He was amazing. And that's when I wrote a tweet down. I'm not going to find it for you guys because honestly, who cares? But it was back before the 2020 NFL draft. And I was like, this Will Anderson guy is ridiculous. I think the same thing about his buddy right now, Dallas Turner. They're turning out some great edge talent at Alabama, but this guy is going to be ridiculous. And guess what? In this draft, the 2020 draft or 2022 draft, wait, no, I said it wrong before. It was the 2021 NFL draft for Liam Eichenberg. Regardless, for this last first round, you have something very special. And I'm not going to spoil it because you may have the best pass rush ever. We're just going to leave it there. Number three, CJ Stroud out of The Ohio State University. At this point, Davis Mills showed some potential, but you're not able to get out of the top five. You're not going to be a starting caliber quarterback. I am not a huge fan of CJ Stroud, personally. This is going to be more realistic than anything because, again, we don't know jack shit at this point, all right? But this is just fun. We like to project what's going to happen. CJ Stroud, we know he's going to rack up the stats. You got Jaxon, Smith-Njigba there. We'll talk about him soon. Just quarterback is an extremely highly valuable position. CJ Stroud is pretty much a league consensus QB2. Some people say QB1. Pro Football Network had him as their QB1 for when they did their mock draft, which I heavily contest. But CJ Stroud, he racks up good yards. He has a good arm. I just have some issues with him. But of course, You're allowed to develop. That's why I'm not going to write off the ship. I hope that he continues to develop, and then he's worth this number 3 overall pick. Yeah, CJ Stroud to the Texans. Again, you're gonna have some good offensive line, according to the last mock draft. You're gonna have a good enough requisite receiver group. You're gonna be fine. So Texans fans have hope. Number 4, this is a guy who I love him so much. Jalen Carter out of Georgia. You talk about Jordan Davis, Devontae Wyatt being good. If people are saying Jordan Davis should be at number 17, Jalen Carter should be at the number 2's pick. Like, he is that much better. This guy is extremely mobile, extremely aggressive, and extremely explosive at the perfect size. This guy's different. He also blocked the field goal in that Alabama-Georgia championship game. This guy is different than any interior defensive lineman that we've seen in recent memory. Imagine Christian Barmore, but actually better. I'm not saying actually good, because Christian Barmore is good. I liked him. Jalen Carter is a different breed. This is a team that definitely does need extra help on the interior of their defensive line. I didn't go Aidan Hutchinson. You'll see why. So this is a great spot to be able to continue developing your roster. Number 5, you got Eli Ricks here out of Alabama. Yes, LSU transfers to Alabama. This is a squad that it was 100% my fault for saying this. I thought Dante Jackson was under a new contract. He's not. So you're potentially losing Dante Jackson, and then Stephon Gilmore doesn't have a reason to resign. So with the way the draft went, you're not going to get QB3 here. The QB class is not, we're having a little bit of a QB drought, in my opinion. I think we're having a QB drought, and it will spark back up. I do believe so. But this is a squad that you can have JC Horn and Eli Ricks. And I love Eli Ricks. The first moment I saw him was when I was studying Kyle Trask. The first ever report I have ever done. It was my first thing to get into sports writing, was a scouting report on Kyle Trask. Eli Ricks was the one big interception pick 6 that kind of got me questioning. But I love Eli Ricks. He has all the athleticism in the world. He's going to go to Alabama, so he's going to be very well trained there as well. I mean, he's from LSU, so great foundation. He's going to be trained by multiple different high-end coaches that train their corners to be very good prospects. He has everything you need. So I'm a big fan of this. Eli Ricks to the Panthers. He and JC Horn and CJ Henderson in the slot. Give me that all day, every day. Again, the value is just too good. Now we're going to get Spencer Rattler out of South Carolina for the Falcons. I think this is a team like Spencer Rattler. Again, one, we know that Spencer Rattler has talent, but 2, quarterback is an extremely valuable position. 3, this is where Matt Ryan's going to be closing in on the end of his career. And 4, I think you can sit him for 1 year. I do. Spencer Rattler, I've known from people who have talked to him directly as well as just all around. He's a dick. He's just a straight up douche. Hopefully going to South Carolina will actually humble him a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I hope to God that he has a good NFL career, because he has a very fun arm. And I was one of the few people who were doubting him as the number 1 quarterback. I put Sam as my number 1. Surprisingly, he still is. But Spencer Rattler to this squad would not be bad whatsoever. Again, like, this is a squad that needs time to develop, and this is a guy you can take time to develop. So I like that. At number 6, it's good enough value. You're getting QB3, but it's not something that, this is a guy who should have been the number 1 pick this year. There's still a chance for him to revive his career. Next, you got Jaxon Smith-Njigba to the New York Giants. And I'm usually against going wide receiver to the Giants at this point, but according to the mock, you don't need a QB. You don't need an offensive tackle. I don't think the center out of Georgia is good enough for this. There's a couple of picks where I've like fluctuated on my love for him, but and then you don't need defensive line. Wide receiver, because you got Kenny Golladay for a reason, is something that you can add to. Jaxon Smith-Njigba is going to be a great guy to be a 1-2. And I think Kadarius Toney is perfect for that. So Jaxon Smith-Njigba, Kadarius Toney, sign me up. I'm not that high on Jaxon Smith-Njigba. Not yet. I think that he's kind of uninspiring as an athlete. But that being said, I haven't watched him in depth. So I am far from one to say that that's a solidified opinion. From the highlights that I've seen of him while watching other people, not solidified that he is like a top 5 prospect like a lot of people are saying he is. Next, you got the Bears going Kelee Ringo here. Obviously, the guy who made the big pick 6 in the Natty. But, you know, Kelee Ringo, I was saying this when I was watching Darion Kendrick. I was like, who's this other guy? He locks down very well. He's aggressive and he just knows how his ball skills are pretty solid. That's Kelee Ringo. I was like, okay, no one's talking about him. Didn't realize that he wasn't going to come out for the draft, but the Bears desperately need a corner too. He and Jalen Johnson could really be a nice 1-2 punch. So you got the Bears right now. They can sit. They got Tevin Jenkins working at left tackle. You got a good enough squad, and I'm going to be developing their offensive line in the draft. I did not think a wide receiver was good enough at this position. You don't have a true number 1 wide receiver. It's number 8 overall. We're not doing trades in this. Just again, that'd be kind of weird to do trades before I even solidified a first round. But I think Kelee Ringo is going to rise up the boards. Again, he's a pro-ready corner that has everything that you're looking for. That's a good sign. The Bears could definitely use a lockdown guy. And they just brought on the Indianapolis Colts defensive coordinator, if I'm not mistaken, as their head coach. So that's a good sign because he might want to be targeting some defensive guys at the top of the draft when he has his first round pick. Let's go number 9. You got Noah Sewell here. I was thinking about waiting on the video just so I had a different graphic, but honestly, we will update this in time. This is going to be fun. So Washington's had a big issue with their linebackers getting picked apart. Jamin Davis was a first round pick last year, but I had my concerns for him since he was a little bit lighter and he was a very raw prospect. I think he'll continue to develop very well. Noah Sewell is just built different. This guy's 250 pounds and he can move like a freight train. Like this guy will run through you. He can cover pretty damn well. And I'm just overall a big fan of what he could be in the NFL. At number 9, I think this is a very safe pick. This is a very safe projection because I think he could go as high as 5. It is not number 5. I don't remember who the number 5 team was, but I'm saying he could be a top 5 player in the class. Just his build is incredible. His drive's incredible. He also is a Sewell, so that's another big plus. But yeah, Noah Sewell, that's a guy I'm very excited to see. Number 10, I am thinking that Brandon Joseph is going to have a resurgence and going to my favorite fit for him of all time. Again, I'm pretty sure in my first round mock, this was a consistent pick. And even when he started falling to the second, I still made sure the Vikings were the team to scoop him up. Brandon Joseph, he was my number 6 or 5 player in the entire draft starting out last year. Did not look himself. He tried to put on some weight, but he's going to Notre Dame where they can develop safeties like it's nobody's business. Kept their DC as their new head coach. I love that. That is going to be a 5 out of 5 destination for Brandon Joseph. I'm so excited to see it because I really think that I'm going to re-raise him up my board because I think that's going to be the perfect place for him to find himself and develop because that's the spot. That is the holy mecca for safeties at the moment. Now producing Kyle Hamilton and then JOK, who's a slot corner, a linebacker hybrid called a rover. These guys know what they're doing to be able to develop talents to their maximum potential. Brandon Joseph, perfect fit for him. And next we got Malachi Moore to the Steelers. Defensive back wise, it's just not looking good. Offensive tackle, there's somebody I want to bring up into this equation, and we'll talk about him soon. There's a tackle out of Northwestern. I'm not going to try to butcher his name until I actually see it on the screen, but there's a tackle out of Northwestern that I think the Steelers could really nab. I think that'd be a good fit. But Malachi Moore is a defensive back out of Alabama. We already know Steelers could be using a safety as well as a corner. Their defensive back situation, not 2.0. Hopefully that it just everything starts falling back into place. Joe Hayden's not going to, he's not getting any younger, right? And then like Sutton Smith. Damn it. I forgot his name. Cam Sutton. Boom. He's not going to be a 5 out of 5 outside boundary dude. Malachi Moore has the potential to be somebody who is very solid in that backfield. And that's somebody who I'm very excited to see develop. So Malachi Moore, defensive back at Alabama, going to the Steelers. Of course, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, the Steelers' best defensive back right now is from Alabama. So might go back to the roots right there. Next, we got Kayvon Boutte out of LSU. So I'm pretty sure he's not even 20 years old yet. There's this one site. I'll probably put it in the link in the description below where they have their own rankings. They actually have some of the guys' age on there, which I appreciate. It's hard to see where some of these BYU cats are going to be like 25 as a freaking junior. Like Kayvon Butte is not even 20 yet. So the guy is ridiculously talented. I think he put up like a 300-yard game or something his true freshman year. This guy has a ton of talent. He's a really good wide receiver overall. He didn't inspire me the way that you see Kadarius Toney just like catch your eye, but he's still a hyper athletic, very solid wide receiver. The Raiders need something like that to revitalize their offense after losing Henry Ruggs, because I'm pretty sure they did not get one in that draft. This is the right pick. I love Kayvon Butte to this squad. Even if you have a wide receiver, I don't think Bryan Edwards is going to stop you from getting an elite wide receiver talent like Kayvon Butte. We're going to get back into this. Eagles, yeah, it's not an inspiring pick. If you've never heard of Brian Bresee or Bresee, I don't even know how to say his name correctly. He played 4 games this year. He's extremely young. He's not top 5 on most people's boards, right? But I don't value interior defensive linemen that much. This guy got 10 pressures in those 4 games. It was like 0, 3, 3, and then like 4 or something like that for pressures. This guy is a pass rushing beast. And with the potential, he's over 300 pounds, with the potential of losing Fletcher Cox. I think this is going to be a very good pick. Not exciting, not inspiring, but this interior defensive line class is very good. And this guy is very young and still producing at a very high level. Interior defensive lineman for Clemson as well. I'm forgetting the other guy's name, but he came in and did a very good job as well. I think his name is Miles Murphy. He didn't make this, but he very well could. He very well could. So we'll be seeing some change ups in time, but honestly thought this was the best value for the pick. This is a guy who has top 10 written all over him, but I'm having him fall because of positional value. And this is a team that, I mean, Javon Hargrave is probably not going to be there for 1,000 years. And to be honest, Fletcher Cox won't be either. So you got Milton Williams, who's sub 300. He'll be probably inside, right? But you need someone to really anchor that down. I think you might have Marlon Tuipulotu too. Regardless, I think that Brian Bresee would be a perfect addition on your inside. And I think he'll be a great starter and a great impact player. Just somebody to actually continue keeping that pass rushing presence from the inside, which is kind of like the downfall of most of the teams in your division, is that when you apply pressure, they usually crumble. So I like that. Number 14, I had this pick as actually something different for a long time, but I'm going back to it. We're going Bijan Robinson out of Texas. The Dolphins don't have a running back. I don't value running back in the first very often. Bijan is a freaking god. And we all know the lack of value at running back, and so is the NFL. So when you have a running back god, he can probably elevate himself to twice his supposed draft stock. I think late first is as high as running back should go. So you double it because he's just different. Get around 15. The Dolphins desperately need it. And this is a guy who can actually take pressure off Tua. I could see you giving him 20, 30 carries a game. Like, this could be your better version of Saquon Barkley. He doesn't have overdeveloped body, which that sounds weird to people who don't understand what I'm saying. But when you are too strong, right? The two big guys, too high on the BMI, Clyde Edwards-Helaire and stuff like that, you end up starting to risk injury a lot more because your joints are under stress. You look at Bijan, he's well built, right? He's a well-built running back, but he's not Saquon Barkley where I had that weird feeling that it's one injury away, and he hasn't been the same since. So I think Bijan Robinson is the perfect encapsulation of what you probably want from a running back. He is definitely my RB1, but the RB2s, they're going to be trying to sneak in here. Number 15, you got Henry To'oTo'o going to the Broncos. See, this is a team that needs multiple linebackers. I'm pretty sure all 3 of theirs are leaving this year. Kenny Young, Alexander Johnson, as well as Josie Jewell, all up for contracts. And probably since Vic Fangio's not there, I forgot, they signed somebody up as the head coach, and I'm bugging on his name right now. But it's not inspiring compared to what Vic Fangio was coming into the group. And it's not obviously Dan Quinn. So I'm sure that you have Baron Browning there, And now you can have Henry Teotiao, who's going to be developed. That was his big issue this year, was he's really raw. And I still liked him, just not as much as some other people. I think this is a good spot for him. It's actually not a bad linebacker class. Again, we're being pretty blessed over these next couple, like this draft and the next, in terms of linebackers, because some of them should have been going in the first and they didn't. Number 16, you got Will Levis out of Kentucky. So this is my idea. I don't think the Saints should get a quarterback this coming up year because I think Jameis deserves a shot. This is assuming Jameis is on the team, plays, and they're number 16. You got to get over the hump, right? So Will Levis is somebody that you know it's going to take a year or two to develop. And since you're not in the playoff contention immediately, that means that the expectations aren't you're going to be immediately in the playoffs. That's a guy who has requisite arm talent. He's pretty damn solid on the move. He has shown flashes. Will he be here? Maybe, maybe not. He might be the Zach Wilson or the Kenny Pickett of this class. Just a guy who can definitely store up the draft stock. Very good quarterback overall. And this is a team that could definitely use a new infusion of youth. Not Taysom Hill, but this is a guy who can run and he can pass and he has a good enough arm. So I like it. Will Levis out of Kentucky. We're going next to the Seattle Seahawks. And we're going to go Paris Johnson Jr., offensive tackle out of Ohio State University. Just a very solid tackle overall. This team definitely needs extra offensive line help, even if they do have one tackle solidified. Stone Forsythe is going to be probably your best bet overall for another tackle spot. And I had him comped as a third rounder to Ty Nsekhe, which is basically you fill in for people who are injured at a high level. You don't play at a high level. This is a great pick for the Seahawks. Of course, they will mess it up. This pick, I was trying to find a team earlier because I love Michael Mayer. I've been saying this since the moment I watched him at Notre Dame. I'm like, this guy is Gronk. People were saying Pat Freiermuth was Gronk. This guy is Gronk. I love Michael Mayer. That being said, unless you are of the upper echelons of tight ends, it kind of gets convoluted past like the top three, right? You think of like an Austin Hooper and Pat Freiermuth. Pat Freiermuth offers more, but it's not exponentially more versus obviously George Kittle. That's exponentially more than those below him. So Michael Mayer could be of that upper echelon, right? He could be of the tier of TJ Hawkinson. He could be the tier of George Kittle. This is a team where Austin Hooper should get cut. Honestly, I don't think he's worth the money. You're going to be losing David Njoku, and then you have Austin Bryant. I don't think that stops you from getting a guy like Michael Mayer here. So I love Michael Mayer. Big beast. I love him. This is the guy I want to talk about for the Steelers. Peter Skoronski out of Northwestern. I mean, just look at him. Just look at him. He's a beast. Northwestern, they train their tackles well. They're used to the cold weather. And again, look at the size of that man. That guy's going to be a beast. And I saw it was on PFN. I got to shout him out. Like I saw that fit and I was like, ooh, damn, I want to put this guy earlier. But yeah, he is a solid tackle so far. I'm very excited to see him continue to develop. I hope that he actually might get a little bit thinner because I don't like how big he is. Again, you don't want someone who is so large that, they need to wear knee braces just to walk around the gym. But he looks very enticing. And the Colts desperately need some extra help there. So we're going to be definitely targeting some wide receiver and corner help as well. But the value is just too good to not go after Peter Skoronski. So next, the Cards. I had to do this one. I'd go Jordan Addison, wide receiver out of Pittsburgh. So this team is desperate for another big playmaker, another really good wide receiver. Thought Marvin Mims might be good here, but again, you like Jordan Addison combined with Rondale Moore and then DeAndre Hopkins. That's what you really need in this squad because when DeAndre Hopkins gets taken out, you can't just rely on Rondale. Jordan Addison has been one of the most dominant wide receivers that we have seen for his own school. Like you just don't see Pitt wide receivers dominate at his level. And he's able to carry his entire team. Very similar to what we see this year in, I keep saying KJ Hamler in my head, but Jahan Dotson. But I think Jordan Addison's a better version of that. He's more athletic. He has a little more juice to him. And I love Jahan Dotson. So Jordan Addison is a great steal at this point. Again, a really loaded wide receiver class. Number 21, going back with the wide receivers, you got Marvin Mims. So we went offensive line for the Chargers. And again, if you guys get mad, that's like, hey, we need this. check out the first round, because most of my picks that I'm doing right now are based on that. So offensive line's already been taken care of. Okay. Now we can get a third wide receiver, if not number 2. It depends on what Mike Williams wants to do. But Marvin Mims is going to be a great addition. He's 178 pounds. That's why it's a little bit of a concern. But people have been saying this guy's a first round pick since his true freshman year. He does have a lot of untapped talent. And I really like what I've seen from him. I do. And I'm pretty sure he might be transferring. That's a question. So the OU thing might be inaccurate. But for right now, we're going to stick to it. Of course, we're going to adjust in the future. But number 22, the Patriots are going Jordan Battle out of Alabama. Should have been probably a late first this year. I would have put him probably 28 to the Cowboys. Thought it was stupid for him to go back. But I assume he's going to continue developing and getting better. So with that assumption, this is a perfect team for the Patriots to be able to snag someone like Jordan Battle. Very versatile safety, very versatile defensive back. I know that Jalen Mills was put on a 4-year contract to be a safety corner hybrid. I think Jordan Battle is perfect for filling any hole that you need on that secondary, and especially in that safety realm. He and Kyle Duggar would be a nice pairing, and I'm all here for it. So Jordan Battle out of Alabama going to the Patriots. If I'm not mistaken, in my 7-round mock for them, which I did earlier in the season, which I'll be coming back out with those 7-round mocks, is just a little bit tough and very time consuming for something that not many people actually want to see. I actually put Jordan Battle there. So this is definitely a pick that I'm used to doing, and I'm continuing to do it. Number 23 to the Titans. This feels like such a fit, doesn't it? Derek Hall out of Auburn. This guy is so good. I had him originally at number 14. I was referencing this earlier. I had him at number 14 to the Dolphins, and I still think that'd be a great pick, right? I really do. But wait till the Dolphins' second pick, because apparently they have one from the 49ers. It's whatever. But Derek Hall, this guy is an animal. I love him. And this is a team in the Titans where you are losing 2 linebackers and still could use extra help pass rushing. This guy's going to be perfect for you. He's young. He's developmental. That is spelled correctly. Don't come at me. Look it up yourself. But I do really like what this guy brings to the table, and he can cover. He had 90 or 70 something snaps in coverage and still did pretty damn well in it. So I like what he brings to the table. Might be one of my big risers on my board coming soon. Number 24 is Cedric Van Pran, the center out of Georgia. He was referenced a lot during the Natty game, where he was doing a very good job maintaining his composure, even when he's a redshirt freshman in a national championship game. Very solid center. This is a team, of course, in the Ravens that, well, you're probably not going to get Tyler Linderbaum, which you didn't in my draft. So getting a center is still a big position of need. I think this is a perfect guy. Even if you have a free agent that's signed for another year, you can still develop this dude. He's going to be a better version of Trey Hill. And I'm very excited to see if Trey Hill continues to develop over there in Cincinnati. So I love that. Of course, the Ravens are going to get someone who fits perfectly at the perfect value. Number 25. This is going to be an unpopular pick, and I understand. But this is something coming from my heart. I'm a huge fan of Sam Laporta. I had him as a mid to early second this year. He was right behind Trey McBride at the same exact score as Isaiah Likely, but in the better categories. I'm just such a huge fan of him. Very well-rounded overall. Had some deficiencies in run blocking. I think that might have been why he returned. But Iowa offensive players, they will learn how to block. They will know how to block. And Sam Laporta is he's a pretty solid route runner too. He's a really good receiver. And he's good after the catch. This guy doesn't offer anything bad. And that is exactly what the Bengals are probably trying to look for in Drew Sample when they drafted him. This guy is extremely talented. And since I'm going to project him to continue to improve, this is going to be my little sneaky pick in the first. That's going to be Sam Laporta to the Bengals. I just think it's great. I love him. Love him to death. Number 26. Yeah, we got BJ Ojulari. Excuse the Getty images that I was praying that remove.bg would take out. It is what it is. BJ Ojulari is going to be a perfect outside linebacker edge rusher for this team. Again, you got Bijan and BJ. That's all you need, right? So BJ Ojulari has a lot more room to grow, but Azeez Ojulari, which if I'm not mistaken, might be his brother, has been doing very well this year. And BJ Ojulari has had some 3-sack games, and he's been able to light it up. I like what I'm seeing, and he's going to not even have, what's his name? I don't think Mike Jones Jr. is even going to compete with BJ Ojulari for some snaps. So BJ Ojulari, he's going to be a beast. I love him. I love what I'm seeing so far. Again, I've been always a fan of the Ojularis. This guy is very talented as well. Number 27. This is a fun one. Cowboys. He looks skinny as hell, doesn't he? Blake Freeland, tackle out of BYU. This was when he came in 2019. So actually, I was making sure I was talking about the ages. I was like, oh, this guy's going to be like 24 years old coming out as a true junior. No, he's a class of 2019. So I'm a class of 2019. I know obviously my age. So he's going to be young. He's not going to be one of these guys who go on the mission trips or anything. So thank God. Hallelujah. But again, he put on, I think he came in at 260. I think he's around 310 right now. So he put on 50 pounds, and he has had like in his first year, I think he had like something like 68 PFF grade, something like that. He had a 94 last year. And again, I'm the last person to believe BYU on their passing grades, right? Pass blocking grades. But this guy is 6'8", 310 pounds. He has a lot of potential. Put on weight, which means he has the drive to actually want to be in physical shape. He's going to be pairing up with that Oregon tackle that just transferred over, that true sophomore. That's going to be a nasty duo. I would not be surprised to see BYU in the top 15 next year. I would not be surprised at all. This guy offers a ton of talent. He's going to be on one side. That tackle from Oregon is going to be on the right. Whoo, man. Tyron Smith ain't getting any younger. He's not getting any healthier. This guy is perfect to bring in. Even if he sits a year, I think it's perfect. I love this pick. Number 28, Trenton Simpson. He should have went even earlier. I love this. But, of course, the Lions got a linebacker. They finally did. And, honestly, they might still get another one in the draft for round 2. I haven't done round 2 yet. But Trenton Simpson out of Clemson, man, he excites me. He's really good as a pass rusher, too. So there's a lot to love about what Trenton Simpson brings to the table. Another guy who I could see definitely rising into my top 15 coming soon. Number 29, here we go. Running back to Tag Bigsby. Just a guy very similar to what Najee Harris brings to the table. Can make you miss. He has a little bit more juice to him, though. But I just love his consistency. Snap to snap, you know you're going to get very good contact balance. You're going to get very good power. You're going to get the leg drive. This guy has a lot to bring. And, of course, I got kind of failed by remove.bg on the background remover. He looked so good in the picture. And now, well, he's just this. But that's okay, because when you're losing Leonard Fournette, you're going to be getting somebody who's an absolute stud. And honestly, I think that if he's used properly, could be effective enough in the receiving game. And number 30, this is another guy who I am very hyped for. I love this guy, Parker Washington. If anybody says I'm disrespecting him, I will agree with you, because I love this guy. He should be higher than 30. No one's talking about him. No one is. This guy's not in any first-round mocks. He's better than Jahan Dotson. Again, I love Jahan Dotson. Where is this guy? The guy's so special. Like, you see him make play after play after play. Excellent, spectacular catches, if you want to talk about Madden. Excellent contested catches. And he's super solid after the catch as well. I think he's a good enough route runner. This guy is going to be special. I might be putting him as my wide receiver 1 above Jaxon Smith-Njigba when I get to watch all the tape. I'm just saying, this guy could be the real deal. Bills, of course, are going to be potentially losing Cole Beasley, as well as Emmanuel Sanders is going to be gone by that time. Just probably a good time to pair him up with Gabriel Davis and Stephon Diggs, to be able to have an elite trio of wide receivers. Number 31, finally healthy, ZTF, Zion Tupuloa-Fatui out of Washington. Yeah, the guy got literally triple teamed on his 20th snap this year. People know how damn good this guy is. He's like Joe Tryon all over again, but he might be even better, just a little bit less healthy. He's an absolute beast. I love Zion Tupuloa-Fatui. This is a team that will be needing some extra edge help. I did get a wide receiver for them in the first round of my last draft. That's why I didn't do it for this one. So big fan, ZTF to the squad. In number 32, my big splash running back pick, Jahmyr Gibbs, running back from Georgia Tech, now Alabama. Yeah, this guy, he can fly, right? This guy might be in the 4.2s, and he has excellent vision. Pretty sure he's damn good in the receiving game as well. This guy might be the most well-rounded running back in the country. I would not be that surprised to see if he starts contending for RB1. This is a really good running back class. And there are some deep options, but the Chiefs are probably a really good running back away from being always favored, like always favored by a large margin. Just because, again, I don't think CEH was that special. I wasn't that happy when they took him the first because he was my RB3 at the time. Jahmyr Gibbs is ridiculous. He's worthy of a first-round pick. So let me know what you guys think. I just want to have some fun there, make all the graphics, and finally get reacquainted with this class. I had a good time. Hope you guys did too. See you on the far side. Peace.